place within the United Kingdom.
My Lords, that I find the news of Lord Judge's death most painful, that I started my career as a barrister with Lord Judge. We were fellow pupil barristers in the same chambers, and I've known and admired him ever since. My Lords, on Thursday, the 14th of October, 1976, Lord Hailsham, the father of the present Viscount Hailsham in this House, gave the Richard Dimbleby Memorial Lecture. It was entitled Elective Dictatorship. I thought then that Lord Hailsham was right, and I think now, 50 years on, he was more than right. As Lord Hailsham argued, the executive, when it wishes, just controls the legislature, and not, as it should be, the other way round. Importantly, Lord Hailsham identified the cause being, and I quote, the continuous enlargement in the scale and range of government, with the result that more and more of its party, particularly in the House of Commons, are being taken into government and thereby strengthening the government's powers over the legislature. I can give a personal example. My grandfather in the House of Commons in the 1920s and 1930s was a parliamentary Under-Secretary of State in the Home Office. The only other political appointment then in the Home Office was the Home Secretary. Take the position now. There's the Home Secretary, 3 Ministers of State, 3 parliamentary Under-Secretaries of State, 7 political appointments. And the assumption is that this has happened in all the major departments of state, and the government has continued and is continuing to extend its powers through the creation of one government agency after another. In the last Parliament, there have been bills, not many, in which the backbenchers in both Houses of Parliament have been able to participate to the benefit of the bill, which is welcome, but not so with other bills. Take, for example, the illegal migration bill. This House worked very hard throughout the passage of this bill, and when on the 12th of July this House was considering, well past midnight, the Commons amendments to the bill, we voted significant majorities, 60 votes or more, in 9 divisions, for critical and important changes in the bill. What happened in the House of Commons? My colleague in the House of Commons, Jess Phillips, wrote about it in the New Statesman on 21 July. I quote, "Round and round we walked, voting on the House of Lords amendments in the illegal migration bill. The first session took 3.5 hours, the second 2 hours. It is really something to spend so much time losing votes. During the past few weeks of Parliament, this farce has become real." I think all of us should find this very disturbing. It was very disturbing when we were compelled to pass this bill. It most bizarrely contained provisions which the Court of Appeal had declared to be unlawful. And if the Supreme Court agrees with the Court of Appeal, there will remain among our statutes an unlawful statute. Perhaps its true name is the Illegal Migration Bill. This was not the only bill which in the last Parliament fell in the House of Commons to the dictate of the government. I refer to the retained EU law bill. It is true that we are not an elected chamber, but we are the only chamber in Parliament who can place some restraint on the government. In neither of these 2 bills, which I have cited, did the government have any electoral or any mandate at all. In the King's speech, the government states it intends to deliver on the Illegal Migration Act. What does this mean? I can only urge the government heretofore not to use dictatorial powers and urge this House to look after democracy when any government of any day, of whatever persuasion, is patently not doing so. But I would just like, if I may, to end my words to your lordships by addressing the 2 ministers, the noble Lords Lord Bellamy and the noble Lords Lord Sharp of Epsom. The Lord Privy Seal in an excellent speech yesterday, spoke about the friendliness of this House. I have now been rather unfriendly towards the government of which the two ministers are members. I hope they will accept that I was not seeking to be unfriendly to them. They are good and respected ministers. Their problem is that they're having to answer for the extremists in their party in the other place. We should give our commiserations to both of them.